Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I'm going to share with you guys my top 5 most carried EDC folding knives over the last month or so. So I'm going to do what I did last time. I think I did this last time. I'm going to go over the stuff that I've been carrying outside of the Demco Shark Cub and the Spyderco Sage 6, which is upstairs. These are my go-to. These have been my go-to EDCs, but I carry a lot of different things, and these would, make this list pretty much every single time. I want to tell people about the other stuff that I've been carrying because I tend to gravitate towards all different types of things, and there's a lot of unsurprising stuff in, the 5 slots, I guess, below those knives. So yes, of course, Spyderco Sage 6 and Shark Cub still extremely recommendable, but there's some other really, really great stuff, and I want to share it with you guys. So everything that I've been carrying will be linked down in the description, so you can check it out if you want to. It does help my channel when you use those links, but that's entirely up to you. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Make sure that your notifications are turned on for the Metal Complex YouTube channel. Starting off in the number 5 spot, hasn't been in my pocket an absolute ton, but it is the number 5 spot, and that's the Kershaw Launch 23. Not only do I like the overall shape of this knife, I just really like that bayonet grind. It's so cool. This is a Magna Cut launch knife, which is cool. It also fires really hard. I still don't know if they're using different size coil springs in various launch knives. I kind of speculated that could be the case. It could also be like the situation with the Hinder Eclipse and the Hinder XM18, those two autos. One of them is just, it's got a little more tension, like where it starts at the top, where it connects. It creates more tension on the same coil spring and, makes it feel like it's firing harder. I don't really know. The combination of the straight lines, kind of that military look, and the firing power, I just really enjoy it. The blade isn't necessarily like an extreme, beast of a cutter or anything like that. It cuts fine. Really, truthfully, it just looks cool. And because this is a launch series knife, not only is it made in the USA, but the price is also extremely reasonable compared to its direct competition, USA-made production knives. This is a cool one. I really hope that they offer different blade finishes and different, aluminum anodizing. I would love to see this with a black carbon fiber inlay, like a black aluminum with black carbon fiber, and then maybe a satin finished blade or something like stonewash blade. I think that'd look really cool. Nothing wrong with black wash and OD green, but it's not really my favorite color combo. It is a really, really good knife, though. I highly recommend this one. Definitely check it out. Moving on here, this is a knife that I have been carrying just because I kind of dream about it being perfect. It's not quite perfect, but I dream about it being perfect. And that's the Miguron Vor in titanium. This is Miguron's bug out, essentially. Has really, really great cutting geometry. I think ergonomically it's better with the choke up spot. I love that they're offering this PVD titanium at just shy of $100. The reason I say it's almost perfect, this is essentially the very best non-Benchmade bug out. I think that pretty much every company does the bug out better than the bug out, and they price it less. This is a Chinese production company, obviously, and they have a much less expensive version of it even still. I actually have that right here, and this guy's in 14C28N. I love the idea of a titanium and M390 version of it, though, especially at about $99. The only problem is, of course, that their HRC range for that M390 is not where I'd like it to be. They have it at 58 to 60. I would prefer that the bare minimum is 60. Had some people get kind of confused about my range. Some people are like, oh, he said 60 to 62, but he's okay with 60 to 61. The point is that it should be 60 or higher. Reddit. But thank you for pointing that out. It wasn't. I'm just saying it just sounds like somebody from Reddit. But anyways, yeah, 60 plus would be preferable. I think Miguron can get there. I still carry this knife because I like the size and the weight. I like that it's got titanium scales, and I truthfully just really like the cutting geometry. It's just a nice, thin blade. I also would love for them to adopt a new logging system. I actually brought this up to Miguron just last night. It was late last night. But it would be really cool for them to adopt some new locking systems outside of liner, frame, and crossbar locks. Still, though, this is a wonderful, wonderful product, and the price is really, really good. I just wish that they would bump that HRC range a little bit higher. Moving on here, speaking of knives that are kind of like the Bug Out, but better. Oh, my goodness. So this is the Kershaw Belair XL. This is probably right now, especially if you consider the standard size Belair to be just a little bit too small, this is the very best alternative to the Bug Out. And I think it is pretty much in every way superior. Putting the Belair XL, which are these still, I imagine they're still available. Putting this thing up against the Bug Out, you can see here, it's just ever so slightly larger and ever so slightly taller. This, in my opinion, is just everything that it's removed everything that I don't like about the standard Bug Out. We have G10 scales instead of, whatever they're using, like peeling paint off of an old park bench, right? Whatever the scales are made. I'm joking. I understand it's some sort of FRN, GRN, GFN, whatever. Wicker basket material. I don't like it. It's too hollowed out. And they achieve a super duper lightweight, almost trivial weight. I don't need that. I think the vast majority of people walking around don't need it to be that lightweight. And so I would prefer a little bit of, additional solidity, or at least feeling of solidity. These are backed up by full steel liners. I'm not saying that this is absolutely necessary for most people. I'm sure that the injection mold, whatever the plastic is, I'm sure it's just fine. But I like that this feels a lot more solid, right? I like the grip on it too. It started off pretty aggressive, and as I, continued to carry it and sort of hang on to it, I feel like that sort of, wore down a little bit. I love the blade shape. I love the amount of handle room I have on this thing. It's just spectacular. And this is also made in the United States, and it's utilizing Magna Cut at a pretty high HRC. I think Kershaw aims for a bare minimum of 62. So I think it's about 62, 64. Really good. The Belair XL is the Belair. It's just slightly bigger, and it's not massive. It's not an XL knife, truthfully. The overall length of this guy is coming in at 7.75. It's just a really, really good size knife for a completely reasonable price if you care about knives that are made in the United States. If you don't care, let me introduce you to the ocean of Chinese knives. You have way too many choices to be concerned with the price tag on this guy. But if you do like USA-made knives, and you like compact, lightweight EDC knives that are definitely geared towards convenience, utilitarian performance, things like that, this is so good. I think everybody knew it was going to be good. This is just a go-to. I mean, it's honestly one of those knives that makes me go, is this now the point of diminishing returns for American cutlery? I mean, it was for a long time. It was the Ritter Hogue RSK MK1 G2, which is very, very good. But it's very hard for me to argue, when we're talking in the context of USA-made production knives. It's very hard for me to argue that the Belair or the Belair XL is not the absolute point of diminishing returns for cutlery. It's hard for me to recommend something else if somebody's looking specifically within those parameters. This is excellent. This is an everybody knife. This is a knife that I can legitimately recommend to just about anybody. You just pick the size that you want. I love this. Very awesome. Coming in at a surprise number 2. I reach for this all the time, just instinctive. I see it laying out and I grab for it, and I don't know if something in my subconscious is like, oh, you never carry that brand. You got to carry. I don't know. I don't really think about it. I see it laying out on the desk down here, and I grab for it, and I really, really enjoy carrying it. Speaking of knives that are similar to the Bug Out, again. So this is the Buck Range. This is the, they use 2 words that indicate it would be top tier. One of them's pro and one of them's elite. I think this is the pro, right? This is the standard one. This also has, some sort of, I can never be bothered to remember which letters are being used. FRN, GRN, GFN, whatever. It's some type of thermal, whatever. But this feels a lot more solid because they did not hollow it out completely. So you still get that ultra lightweight feeling without the feeling that if you sneeze, you will obliterate your knife. Definitely not. This is a USA-made knife. They're utilizing 14C28 N on it. This knife utilizes washers. This thing just feels like a tool. Everything about like knives that, you know, sometimes just feels like it's there for embellishment. All of that is pulled out of this knife. Everything here is pretty much as straightforward as it can get. And Buck did a really, really good job with this. I had almost written Buck off as this company that they used to be really good and now they kind of make like, and there's people that are just dedicated. They're like, oh, Buck makes the best knife, you know, like, and it's because they don't want to or have not experienced anything outside of Buck that they come to that conclusion. I was wrong. Buck is perfectly capable of manufacturing extremely high quality knives with really, really good tolerances. And there's also a whole bunch of stuff here that says, yeah, we pay attention to the knife community, or at least the snobby and those freaking, you know, those YouTuber guys. Not that they have to. They clearly have done well without any of our opinions. But this really is a nice carry. This is a very preferable carry. I like it. I like how it looks. It's got a little bit of classic, a little bit of modern in it. It's lightweight. It just feels, I just want to pick it up and use it, even though it's not substantially different than a lot of knives that I have carried. A lot of the stuff that I gravitate towards nowadays is more lightweight and compact. I still love my big XL knives. I love my Hinderers, all of that. I love my own Excalibur, right? Sometimes this just works a little bit better, and this is oftentimes what I am reaching for. So Buck range, definitely. The Pro doesn't feel like quite as good a value as the Elite, but then again, you look at the Elite and you compare it to, say, the Belair or the Belair XL, and you go, oh, that's quite a bit more money than those, right? So you kind of really have to want the package that the Pro or the Elite delivers. But even though they are not the absolute best priced in the general competitive space, that does not include Chinese knives, it's still a really good knife. It just is, right? Whether you want the nice, you know, the expensive one in, I think it's Magna Cut, or you want the less expensive one in 14C28N. And finally, the knife that I've carried the most outside of the Sage 6, my Excalibur, and the Shark Cub. This is the Exceed Designs Tyrant Ultra. This is so freaking cool, man. And I don't carry the, I'm not going to make some argument about, well, the replaceable blades, it's just an economic and I'm not going to do that. I'm carrying this because it's freaking cool, man. They sent me a bajillion different blades. What I love about this is if I'm feeling fancy, this is a titanium frame lock. And truth be told, I have two of these that I carry. There's one down here in my office and there's one upstairs in my truck. This has replaced the knife that that was my dedicated truck knife. I had another Ontario Rat up there and it replaced it. Mainly out of cool factor, but I still, you know, I don't carry a Husky or a freaking Milwaukee Fastback because those are boring. They're cheap and they're efficient and all of that. They are super boring. Honestly, I would rather count ceiling texture. I think I would rather lay on my back and count ceiling texture than carry a Milwaukee Fastback, regardless of how easy it would make my day-to-day life and how little it would cost me. No, thank you. Pass. These are so much more interesting. They're so much cooler. They're also substantially more expensive. So you have to really, you know, want that. But titanium frame lock, so I get that cool, you know, kind of flipper feel. The system that they have developed here, and by the way, this is an actual zero-etch Damascus blade. There's housing, and in order to remove this blade, you simply push down on this button and you lift up on this lever, and this blade comes out. Now, there's a bunch of different options on their website, and there's soon to be more, like exotic or like premium steel blades, right? You can take this out, you can pop this out. You don't want to damage your nice Damascus blade, right? Then you put this in, this is housing for the standard utility blades. You push this guy in out here and pop, there you go. And now you can wear down this blade if you're about to do something a little questionable with your knife. You're about to cut into something you know has staples in it and you don't want to, you don't want to mess this up. it's really, really easy to do. And then when it comes time to remove this blade, you can absolutely do that. Yeah, you just back these screws out just a little bit right here. But super duper cool, and I just really enjoy the fact that I can switch these blades out if I want to. I think that's awesome, and this absolutely does cater to, you know, the modern knife guy who's still carrying a knife because there are things that you have to do throughout the day that require a knife, but it just lets you feel a little more fancy. It's just fun. Nobody needs this. This isn't like, oh, it's the new thing that everybody needs it and you have to have it because if you don't have it, then you can't get your standard cut. No. Everybody will get by just fine on the Milwaukee Fastback. You don't buy this because you need it, right? Or it's bringing some new element to the table over a Milwaukee Fastback. No, but nobody assumes that, and it's not marketed this way. So if you're seeing that and you think, I see through the gimmick, you're not seeing through anything. There's no curtain. The curtain's pulled back. This is just for people who enjoy this type of knife, right, and the utilitarian benefits, but at the same time want something that's a little bit more fancy. And I think this does a perfect job. This is the coolest one that they have done. I have thoroughly enjoyed it, and I plan to continue to carry this, like I said, because this knife has replaced my truck knife. So anyways, let's go back over these once again. We have the Tyrant Ultra. We have the Buck Range. And in third place, we have the Kershaw Belair XL. In fourth place, we have the Miguron Titanium Vor. And finally, we have the Kershaw Launch 23. All of these are great knives. All of them are knives that I generally would recommend. And just really asterisk here with this guy. We need to get the HRC range up on that M390 because 58 and 59 M390 is just nothing. I mean, you could replace it with 154CM properly heat treated in the 154CM at that. If it was compared to 58, 59 M390, the 154CM, you know, at a higher HRC is, you know, going to be a better blade steel. So M390 needs to be bumped up a little higher to really be the M390 it's advertised to be. But anyways, all great choices. All of them will be linked down in the description. That's going to be it today, guys. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.